greetings and gratitude to any entities who have found this really long broadcast. It's most likely on the Internet Archives. Hello, Internet Archives. Here we have the voice of Gavin Lim, the disembodied
Hello,
voice.
I'm a ghost.
That's good. That's where we're going. So we're going on an adventure to the land of the dead, the Celtic Otherworld. As seen on the screen, there's 11 places laid out for Gavin, and we got the runes that will take us there. So, when you feel ready to go to the first destination, and your excitement is at peak, you begin rowing your boat into the mist. Please say stop, and we will begin. Okay, do you want 5 resin and 6 bone, or 6 bone and 5 resin?
6 resin and 5 bone.
So you're more alien than ancient, but you're both. Just got a little more alien in you.
Just a tad. I'm an old soul alien.
Yes. Maybe even ancient.
An ancient alien.
I think that's a TV show. I don't know if we're legally allowed to say that.
Oh man, we're gonna have to scrub all the editing.
Oh no, there will be no editing. No editing whatsoever on this one. So, I'm going to take 5 deep breaths, and when I'm finished with the breaths, I will begin with your choice. Envision 11 islands obscured by mist. Here that are for you to see. Okay, and I will begin to breathe with intention. You feel yourself rising and sinking in a boat on a temperate ocean. You can feel the rise and fall of the boat. A oar in your hands as you paddle through the sea. Thick mists to your left as smoke rises from the sea, and down from the clouds you can hardly see. If you reach your hand out, you cannot see your fingers through the mist. As you look to your right, you see an orange cloak. Beneath the cloak is your guide. You recognize this lion man from somewhere before. He smiles at you, a remembrance of something before. He hands you a pouch, a satchel that is empty. He says, "We have 11 destinations. You will receive 11 messages in rune form. Place them in this bag and keep them warm." You realize that there's going to be a lot of rhyming in this adventure, and this brings joy to you. He asks, "Where do you want to begin?" North, east, south, west, or anywhere in the compass?
North.
As you continue to row, you feel the sloshing of the boat back and forth. As you approach, you see that there is no island around you. The mist becomes darker. Your guide says you are in the sea of mists. You look down into the water and you see cows and people as if drowning in the water, but clearly breathing, floating there, not knowing where the sky and the sea ends. All of your doubt, all of your fear, every I'm not good enough, I can't do it, it's not real, there's no way that I'm allowed to do that, are floating in the water. As you look down, you see all of your doubt, all of your I can't, I'm not, I shouldn't, floating there. In the water is a stone with this symbol engraved on it. The symbol of the arrow, pointing to the sky, the rune of air, of the beautiful spaceships and clouds and stars and moons that exist in the upward sky. To ask you why. Why are you stuck on the earth? Why can't you rise up? Why are you in stasis? You feel as you walk around on this mist, you feel the mist around you. Hard to take deep breaths as the thick, chalky mist penetrates your lungs. You feel all of the unmade plans, all of the resentments, all of the discontentment is around you. You sit in it. You sit in the vile and the nothing. You sit in the positivity and the sadness. You place the rune into the pouch. As you look to the sky, the mist begins to clear just a little bit for beams of rainbow light to peek through. As they land on your third eye, you feel the light, the prism of existence, permeate your existence. And as the mist within you leaves your throat as you exhale, you return to the boat, your guide never leaving his place, gave you the opportunity to explore. He says, do you have any questions, comments, or concerns before we leave?
Did I make a mistake?
There is no mistakes. A mistake would imply that there is a perfect way of doing things. Well, the perfect way of doing things was the way that you did it. So if that is the case, then you cannot ever possibly make any mistakes. What you label as a mistake is just a learning opportunity. Nothing more, nothing less. So yes, you gave yourself an opportunity to learn. But no, you did not make a mistake. Or you would never be able to see the mist at all. And you would be drowning like the other aspects of yourself, your guide says.
What now? What do I do now?
You look to the sky. You know that even if you can't see the stars, they're out there. Even if it's nothing but darkness, there is light. You know that there is. When you are lost in the mist, look up is your rune message. Ask the sky to hear your call and know that you're always there. You're one and all with every star. Many of the stars are so far away you may never know anything about them, but their light still reaches you and your light still reaches them. That's all you need to do is look up. Any other questions, comments, or concerns?
The perfect answer for sure.
There is no perfect answer. All there is the answer that you needed to hear, and that's perfect for you. But to someone else, it's imperfect.
I, I need to hear that more than anything, and it's like I need to have that repeated over and over again.
Fear not. Fear not. The other world likes to repeat messages in different ways to make certain you learn the lessons of yourself. Always remember, friend, that as we continue, these are you. This is aspects of yourself. These are locations that exist within you. We are not here to change them, to think that they are not good enough or are bad. We are here to see them for what they are, honor them, and learn from them. And if they change, they change. If they stay the same, they stay the same. But we don't need to identify with it here, because it just is in the other world. So, east, south, or west? Where would you like to go next?
West.
As we row to the closest body in the distant mist, it clears as you see a small island in the water. On the island is a four-sided cup with engravings of many different animals. There is a red liquid in this cup, as if been there for ages and endless. This is the four-sided cup. You approach it, and you know that within this reflection is the blood of existence, is the life force, the liquid existence of all universe, the flow state that maintains all life, the vaginal excretions of the Divine Mother, placed in the cup. Some call this the Holy Grail. Some search for this location for eons. As you find it, you approach in it. You see floating is this symbol, the symbol of mankind. You take the rune out, and you hold it close. You see the overlapping of each and every person. You look into the water again. You see all the children laughing, all of the children crying. You see all of the babies being born and all of the grandparents dying. You see all of those feasting and all of those starving. You see all of those drunk and all of those thirsty. The balance of all humanity is within this cup. You take a sip, bitter to the touch. Not able to swallow it, you spit it into the water. As the symbols engraved in the cup begin moving and spinning around you, you feel connected to all people, all humanity. Not able to completely engage in it, but being part of it. Not identifying as it, but knowing what you are. You place the cup back on its pedestal. You take a moment of understanding of each person who has died to get you to where you are, and each person who will live long after you have died. For each person you have passed on the street, for everyone you have called a friend, for everyone who had called you an enemy, and everyone who has met a bitter end. You apologize and forgive for any part you might have played, understanding that all you did was what you had to do. There's nothing more, and that will always be true. You return to the boat. You place the rune in your satchel, and it clangs off against the other from the sea of mist. Your guide, with a smile in his eye, says, "Do you have any questions, comments, or concerns?" Before we move on to our next location. by continuing to help yourself and all four aspects of yourself. We are all made of four sides. The side in which we know, the side in which we think we know, and the side in which we will never know, and the side in which others know us as. This could also be the person who you think you are, the person who others think you are, the person who God knows you are, and the person who you will never believe you are, but everyone will always know you are. All four of these sides of the house, all four of the directions, all four corners of the earth, all four seasons exist in harmony. When you can create all four versions of yourself, shaman, you will be able to help these people much more. You do not need to have them drink from the cup. By you making the cup will allow them to use your templates to create their own cup. You had to do that for yourself first, right?
There's a part of me that wants to continue to drink from this cup, to have more, to go deeper.
You are not able to swallow from the
Thank
cup.
you.
It is poison. Your deepness, you think, must come from the liquid, an external force. The truth is, you are the rail. You are the deepest well that could be. Your fullness is within, not without. This liquid can never give you anything that you don't already have. You already have this fullness within. Reach down your bucket into your well and pull out a full bucket overflowing with the innermost liquid of yourself, that thick cream of who you are, that essence of life, and drink it fully. And know that you don't need external energies from the other world to be full. The well is within. You just have to drop the bucket into the darkness and have faith that you will pull up a full abundance of who you are and what you want to be. Does that answer?
Perfectly.
Okay. Northeast, southeast, or west?
Southeast.
Okay. We approach this next location. As we row, you feel yourself coming into place, more of who you are rising to the surface. We have reached the center of yourself, the utmost of who you are, your guide says. As we approach, you see a four-sided, perfectly square island. You hear birds singing. As we approach, many people on this island, all dressed in the ancient clothes. Your guide says we have arrived on the island of the ancestors. This is who you are. This is the core of your essence. You are a living ancestor. You are the bridge between the old ancient earth teachings and the modern technology teachings. Come into perfect harmony. As you walk through, you see your parents, you see your grandparents, you see your great-grandparents, all in celebration, all in joy. Many people in old clothing, in ancient tribal getup that you do not recognize, as if long forgotten in the ancient bloodlines. You spend time with each of these ancestors. As you walk through, you hear many bird songs. Beautiful doves land on your shoulders. You walk past cranes and herrings. You look into the pools of puddle on the ground, and you see a rune. You grab it, and it is this symbol engraved, the symbol of Odin, of cosmic knowledge, of receiving information from source, of hearing the message from the ancestors. This is what they have to say. An old woman who has the same eyes as you walks right in front. She makes direct eye contact and she says, "Take this knowledge. Know we are always here listening to you. You can never separate from your ancestors. We brought you to where you are so you can bring us even farther. You are always supported and loved, even when those who you rely on, depend on, die. They are never far away. They exist always there in the sky, with you always. When a bird chirps, when the smile of nature comes to you, this is you tapping into your inheritance of your ancient ancestry and the knowledge of Odin, the knowledge of the ancient Viking force, of giving up yourself for the betterment of others, self-sacrifice for the betterment of others, of the whole. You may not have your own children yet, this old woman says, but there are many children, young and old, who have lived and died, and their stories are yet untold. They are not known at large, but it is you who are in charge of your destiny and the trajectory of your ancestry." She gives you a great hug, a primal embrace. You feel a little bit of the bloodline of the family tree being healed, being cleansed of sickness, diseases, of curses, left behind by the ignorance of your predecessors. You have healed a little bit, a little root of the tree of your ancestry. As you return to the boat with a bucket full of memories, you drink from this bucket, knowing that this is you that you are drinking. Memories of your ancestries, of your past lives becoming whole. You place the bucket on the island as you return to the boat, the rune in your satchel at your side. Your guide asks, "Any questions, comments, or concerns before we move forward?"
Get so curious about all of my ancestors sometimes. I wonder who I am. I wonder because I feel so different. I wonder where I've been and what I've done and why I'm the way I am.
The answer is here. You can return to this island in meditation at any time. Know that when you return here, you can ask these ancestors these questions. But understand, it doesn't matter who you are. You are who you choose to be. Don't let your predestiny force you to follow the track. The difference between a roller coaster and a go-kart in the human world is the roller coaster tells you how fast you're going and where you're going to end up. The bumper cart, you control the velocity and the trajectory. I hear your humans much prefer these bumper carts to a long line and a short roller coaster. Does that make sense?
Very much so.
Do your best to not get electrocuted by the force of electricity of who you are. The answer, who you are, is electric. Energy in the highest form. What that energy takes, what frequency it vibrates at, is irrelevant, because who you are and what you are energy. And that is all you really need to be.
so obvious right now, and your words are seem perfect. Then there's sometimes when these things don't seem as clear, and you don't even I don't even remember that there are stars above the cloud. It's like I forget everything.
So I can sense you like the label of clear and obscure. The idea of duality exists in your mind. Here in the other world, there is no duality. Every truth is half a lie, and every lie is half true. Everything that is both clear is dense and hollow. Everything that seems like it makes sense, deeper, is just an illusion. In this space, everything is real and not real. Everything is both profound and meaningless. The outcome of it is all based on your own perception of it. And if it may be clear now, months or years from now, as you return to this in your imagination and your memory will be very different. The things that are different for you are the four-sided cup of the four aspects of you. Most humans only know the three. We know what others know about us, we know what we know about ourselves, and we know that we may never know about ourselves. But that fourth side, shaman, is the power that all mystics look for, is the power to understand that God sees them in a way that they will never understand. That existence is something that they will never know. That wisdom can be pursued but never be fulfilled. You can never know all that you don't know, and you will never know what you don't know, that you know to be true. Until you're challenged, until a challenge arises that makes you question what is true. And then you might come to the realization that it was a lie to begin with. And that's perfect, because a lie was part true. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense.
At the center of who you are, of the ancestors, of doubt, of fear, of the mist, and of the four aspects of unity within you. These are just 3 of the 11 that we will explore. You are in the center of yourself. As we continue, you have 3 locations to the right and 3 locations to the left. Where do you want to go?
Go right.
As we row in the boat, you feel the sensation of bubbles rising next to the boat, not able to see them through the mist. The mist clears as we approach an artificial island. You see rising from the water millions of otters, each one with different materials in their hands. You know you have arrived at the island of the otters. You feel the joy, the play, the excitement. You jump out of the boat and begin swimming with the otters. You, you realize you do not have to breathe underwater. You explore the caverns of their vast dam system that they have made, this artificial island of the otters. As you swim, you see treasures of metal and gem and crystal embedded in this place. Ancient objects long forgotten in this space. You see the otters around you, each one a child who died, each one a person who was never able to live their life, every one a unfulfilled existence. This is where all stillbirth children go. This is where all aborted people, this is where their souls will end up. In the joy of the otter, endlessly playing and celebrating and creating. An otter approaches you. You can see that this is the elder otter, the oldest one. It comes in its hands and presents you a cup. The cup engraved a bearded man. In the cup, a rune rises to the surface. It is the rune of water, the symbol of the spear, knowing the flow, the mysteries, the unknowns within. The otter, as if telepathically, begins laughing, jumps into the sea, begins to play with its friends, and invites you to join in the fun. You place the rune in the satchel at your side, jumping back into the water. You splash and you play. You pass shells together. You help them build an addition to their massive island. You see the ancient ruins floating in the water. You take a large pillar, as if been here beyond time, and you place it in a secure place. You look down. You are no longer in a human form. You are an otter. You have become an otter for this moment. Breathe in your small lungs. Feel the fur on your skin, the wetness on your nose, the water in your ears. Take a moment in this form. As you rise back into the surface, you feel your fingers again, your nose, once in your human aspect, knowing you can return here to the excitement, to the joy, to the oceanic mastery of the land, the island of the otters. You always will have this otter aspect to you, and it will never end. As you return to the boat, you say goodbye to your otter friends. You see their whiskers gleam in the light, shining in their utter delight for spending this time with you. Your guide asks, any questions or comments or concerns before we continue?
I wish I could play like this all the time, but I'm still afraid of the humans not accepting this kind of freedom. That I'm gonna scare them.
That's why you surround yourself with other otters. See, you can return here all the time for yourself, but you want to share it with others. But there are other otters that you can share it with. But if an otter wants to be itself around the sea lions, it's going to end up getting eaten. So sometimes the otter needs to pretend to be a sea lion. Make the sounds of the sea lion. Confuse them to swim away to the other otters so they can play. If you want to be in the highest level of play, surrounded by a bunch of sea lions, there's only one outcome, friend, and it's being part of the food chain. But if you know when the other otters are inviting you to play, then you get to do it all day. And you are both the sea lion and the mountain lion. You are both the otter and the Oliver. You are both the person and the play. But you get to choose which way. You get to decide, okay, today I'm going to be this way, around these people, and then afterwards I will go inward or I will go outward to play. It is finding that right balance. The best thing about being an actor, friend, is you get to play different roles. You're not always cast in the same character. Other people may think you are, but the best thing about being a character actor is you can add a different perspective, a different vantage point that will make it very different, and still yourself. Does that bring clarity to you?
So much. Unbelievable.
Okay. North or south?
South.
As we approach to the next island we row, the sky becomes dark on one side. As dark as night, the stars begin to shine through the mist. The other part of the sky, as we approach this massive island, as if taking up the whole surrounding, is day. This is the island of the fiery pigs. Half of the sky is night, half of it brilliant day. A large white tree in the middle, separating the two environments. In the environment of night, ancient dodo birds come bearing the fruit of the moon. On the other side, fiery pigs eat the fruit of the sun. Both is the same fruit, the fruit of the infinite balance. This is a place of non-duality. This is a place where ice and fire, hate and love, all come in perfect harmony and balance. You see one boar approach you and one bird land next to you. They place their fruit in front of you as a gift. You break one open to see the symbol of the sun. The rune of the sun shines clearly to you. You place it in your satchel and you feel the warmth all around you. This is the rune of victory, of breakthrough, of success, of knowing that all things are perfect now. You feel this within. You break the other fruit in half, and you see the boar eat half, and the bird eat the other. You find this perfect allowance of not having to change, of not having to be better, of knowing that you are in it now, and it is perfect. Because it is what it is, and that's all it needs to be. You see the boars begin to play, and the birds fly off. The one side of the sky, beautiful night, the other, blinding sun. You give a hug to the gray tree of balance in between, feeling your own roots deep into the earth like this ancient tree, knowing that you have found the balance within. When you are lost in chaos, when you are pulled to one extreme, when one pole is stronger than the other, return to this place and find that perfect equilibrium within. You return to the boat in a new sense of harmony, in a new sense of frequency, as if your vibration is not so polarized anymore, it is a clearer bandwidth. Your guide, knowing the same question he will ask you, you smile with your response. What questions, comments, or concerns do you have now?
What do you think about all of this, my lovely guide? This journey we've been on.
You are highly advanced on your path. You have learned many lessons that others will struggle for hundreds of years to learn. But the things that they learn so easy, you struggle with. The main lesson for you is to remember that I am not telling you anything new. These are all things that you've already known to be true. You just forgot. I'm just reminding you. These are all places that you made, that you created, that are yours, that you are the landowner of. I'm not showing you anything new, but I'm reminding you of things that you choose to forget. You may ask, why did I want to forget all these beautiful things? So you had the amazing experience of remembering them. Because when you can remember something, it is a much more meaningful than something that you've always known. That's why you choose to forget. That is my main comment to you now. At this time, after our fifth location, I offer to you, would you like a portal to return to your world of the living, or would you like to see the 6 remaining locations?
I couldn't pass up the opportunity for a 6th location.
Okay.
Never in a million years.
Well, the goal is to always give a way out. And those who choose not to take it are going to be really happy that they did. And those who chose to take the way out were also pretty happy that they did. It's just very different. So, in your normal world, outside of this other world that we find ourselves in, some people say free will doesn't matter there. So, in here, in the other world, free will is very important. So, to follow your free will, you have 6 remaining destinations. 1 to the north, 1 to the northwest, 1 to the east, and other 3 obscured. Which one next?
Northwest.
As we leave, the space of balance begins to become fog. Darkness arises once again as we row forward. You hear momentum as if spinning as the boat stops. Cleared through the mist, a massive spinning wheel emerges from the ocean. Torrents of water spinning at all sides. Many wheels half submerged in the water, frozen, not spinning. One massive wheel spinning, you know you have arrived at the wheel of the universe. The momentum that constantly spins, that constantly moves forward. The wheel of time, the wheel of rhyme, the wheel of existence. You feel the endless turning, the constant momentum. You move to one of the wheels not moving, and you see a rune placed in the spoke, preventing it from moving. This symbol, the symbol of inheritance, the symbol of gaining knowledge, property, or fiscal wealth of ancient ancestors, of knowing who you are based on who you were and who they were. All of the inheritance, physical and above. You feel the magic as you see the spin. All of the wheels begin to spin now as they all are completely melted. You feel the endless momentum, the constant movement, the effervescent spin of existence, knowing that the wheel can stop for a second but must always continue to rotate. When you are surrendered to the momentum of the wheel, you don't feel like you failed. You don't feel like you succeeded. You don't feel any of these external stimuli. You just surrender to the fact that you are the wheel. You are the movement. And you are how you feel. And that's just right. It doesn't have to be real. It just is. And that is real enough for you to be in yourself, to feel this self, your guide says. One of the wheels begins to spin faster, small but quick. As it spins even faster, it disappears because its speed of spin is faster than the human eye can pick up. It is going faster and faster now. It is creating a whistle. The whistle becomes a wail, and then a screech, and then a near deafening sound, before it vanishes altogether. This wheel has spun so fast, it has transcended reality, and it will only continue to gain velocity for all time. As you return to the boat, you feel the endless rapidity, the faster and faster activation and acceleration of yourself within this space. Any questions for your guides, comments, or concerns before we continue?
Yes. The only thing to do is to surrender in this situation.
So no comments, questions, or concerns.
The act of surrendering is my comment.
Okay. Then no concerns at all. Okay. Your guide realizes that very few people ever have concerns, but he adds it on anyway. Okay, our next destination. To the north or to the west?
Let's go back home to the west.
You are very much correct, as this seems as an ancient home for you. As we approach this large sandbar, there is two clear rivers, one of blood and one of water. As we approach, from a cave emerges a man with long hair down to his knees, a mighty curly beard and mustache. He is naked and pure. Your guide says we have arrived on the island of the hermit. Long before time itself, there was a man, your guide says, a mighty king. He had all the land to rule, but he had no time to experience it. He had no ability to feel the greatness of what he had. He left everything, his family and his kingdom, to be in abundance of sand and sun. He found his way to this place. He waits for other hermits to find him. Sometimes you should be in the city, sometimes you should be by yourself. The hermit, without any words, unable to speak, taking a vow of silence long ago, this ancient master walks up to you. As you approach him, you realize that he has the same jawline as you, the same eye structure, the same body language cues. He begins to speak non-verbally, with his shoulders and his hands, with his eyebrows and his chin. He tells you thousands of stories without a single word, as if a mime, but just a little bit more absurd. He hands you a rune beneath his mighty beard. This symbol, the symbol of Thor, the thorn, the protection, of knowing your boundaries, of being able to say, hey, this is allowed, this is not, with your body and no words, being able to project yourself in an unspoken way, being able to hear the thunder in everything you say, finding the power that radiates from within. even in silence, like a shark and its fin. The power is known with just the movement within. The hermit, with sadness in his eyes, but joy radiating all throughout him, he says, non-verbally again, thank you. You feel that even alone, he is whole, even without anyone. When he is alone as the hermit, he is looking forward to the moments like this that he gets to share with another person. But he also looked forward to the moments by himself. We return to the boat. You place the rune in your satchel. As your guide asks, any questions, comments, or concerns for the island of the hermit?
Sometimes I want to stay here forever, and other times I can't wait to leave. Sometimes I feel like by being here, I'm wasting my time, and that there's other things that I should be doing in the action world.
Well, then, let me ask you this. Do you believe that the hermit, who lives here endlessly, do you believe he has no time? So when you are the hermit, how can you be wasting something that doesn't exist? Is my question. Because to the hermit there is no time. There is just this moment now. That is all that really matters. Is he by himself or is he with other people? It doesn't matter. He is here right now. And that's all he cares about.
I guess sometimes I feel like I'm not making the most of my time when I'm here.
That comes from a judgment. It comes from a judgment that time is really important. That time is something that is valuable. Time is not even real. Time is an illusion. Time is a mechanism that is mainly used for control of the uncontrollable. And when you have that judgment, that labeling of time being wasted, remind yourself, how can you waste something that is not even real? You can waste water because it's real, but you can't waste time because there's nothing to be wasted at all. It's just an abstract idea that cannot be tangibly expressed.
Yeah.
Just like the mirror. When you look into the mirror, what you see is only illusion. There is nothing actually in the mirror. It is an optical illusion created by light reflecting off your retinas. The truth is the mirror is empty. And everything in it is an optical illusion created by yourself of yourself. So when you feel you're wasting time, it's just like the mirror. It's an illusion that you can be reminded that is illusionary. The hermit doesn't judge you for being here and doesn't judge you for not being here. You shouldn't judge yourself either. Because he is you. He's just you from before and after time. Does that answer?
Yes.
Okay. To our next destination. East or west?
Keep going west.
to the west. As we leave the outline of the body of the hermit becomes obscured by the mist as we passed his island. As we approach, you hear the songs of many songbirds. You begin to see rainbow light as if crystals. As we approach an island with a large crystal with a door, a woman on the shore. As you land, you see her skin is blue and her hair is golden. She is rising water to bring back to this place. She says, "Would you like to enter the island of the Crystal Keep?" You say yes.
Yes, please.
As she takes your hand, you enter this realm. You see that there's beings. Some of them you can't look directly at because they're terrifying. Some of them are so beautiful you want to look at them forever. Some of them you can't even see because they're so high vibrational. Some of them are so low vibrational they look like chalk drawings. All between, you are in the place of unity, of the highest most light. You are in the keep of crystalline, a entity who has no physical body, but in obvious presence, hands you a rune with this symbol. It looks like the letter B. It is that of birth. It is that of labor, of the pains of being something new, of making something new, the effort and anguish that it takes to manifest something into reality. The aspect of birthing something new and having that baby to bring life to, and that will bring life to you. As you walk around this vast crystal space, you see ancient symbols engraved on the roads and on the buildings, and in this vast ecosystem you find yourself in. All of these unique people in this metropolis of the other world. You know that these are ambassadors from all over space and time who have come here to share in the cosmic rhyme, in the trade of poetry that is more powerful than time. The blue-skinned woman with the golden hair, she grabs you by the hand and walks you out to the shore once again. You see the smile. You hear the word Arcturus. You know that this is the link between the Arcturus within you. She says this is the Arcturus of you. Each person you met in here is an aspect of you from another universe, from another dimension, from another reality. All here to meet, to share, and to engage in the beautifulness of yourself. As you look at her again, you know that she is the divine, female, cosmic, Arcturian aspect of you. The cosmic ambulance attendant of love, excitement, and positivity. Superior to neutrality. Began as neutral, but can lean positive. You feel overwhelming gratitude to her as you return to the boat. Do you have any questions or comments or concerns for your guide before we continue?
I love gathering wisdom, and I love the aspect of gaining. But there's still that resistance, that pain of birth to bring these things into reality. And I wonder how I can operate more gracefully, with more grace through the birthing period.
So remember, from a biological basis, the part of your body that makes you feel pain is also the same part of the body that makes you feel pleasure. There is a very thin line between something being painful and being pleasurable. So thin that you can control it. When you feel pain, when these birthing pains come, you have the choice to bring pleasure, to use alchemy to transform pain into pleasure. You cannot turn sand into gold, but you can turn carbon into diamonds because it is the same aspect, just a different polarity. So, when you are in those birthing pains, ask yourself, do I have any pleasure? Can I bring pleasure? How can I have pleasure right now? Because you can have pleasure and pain at the same time. Many of your humans can only receive pleasure when they are given pain. Many people find pain to be very pleasurable as well. Is that a satisfactory answer to you?
I'm doing it right now. It's actually amazing.
And you realize when the pain becomes pleasure, it was never pain at all. It was always pleasure. It just came in an uncomfortable way. Most people would like a hug, but when someone hugs you without you asking it for it, or knowing it's going to happen, it can be startling and unpainful. But you want it, you love it, you like hugs, but you want to be known that you're going to get a hug. You want to be aware of the hug. Sometimes that wanting to know about it will prevent you from accepting it when it comes randomly, out of nowhere. The most common thing that the other world teaches us humans, friend, it teaches that the thing you want the most, when it shows up, very few people are actually mature enough to welcome it, to accept it when it finally comes. We ask and we ask and we ask for it, and it shows up, and then we're afraid of it, and it startles us, and it doesn't come when we're ready for it, so it runs away because we tell it to run away. But we are the one who invited it in the first place. Do you want to continue east or go to the north?
Let's go east.
As we row past the Crystal Keep, you can hear telepathically the kindness of all the aspects of yourself, grateful that you have met them at this time. A larger island now appears in the far distance, larger than all the other islands. As we approach the shore, you see millions of people in all forms of intoxication. Some of them laughing drunk, some of them vomiting, some of them passed out, naked, some of them being raped, some of them being killed, some of them just drinking, some of them asleep. You see millions of people on this island. This is the island of the berries, your guide says. Anyone who has any addictions of any kind, this is where they will end. This, when they die, they will go to be drunk and to be around the drunks forever, to be a user and to be used. All humans are addicted to something. Your choice is it a productive addiction or a destructive addiction? All those here ended up being destructive. As you walk through, you see many forms of berries, many forms of juice spilled jam smeared on trees and bodies, people in all forms of anguish and access. You see an icicle. You follow that one piece of ice. Underneath it, a piece of metal with this symbol, a straight line, the rune of ice, of waiting, of stagnation. There are people in your life who are waiting to overcome their addiction. There's so many people who are waiting to get better. Don't wait to be anything. When you wait, you lose what's happening now. When you are waiting for anything, you are doing a huge disservice to what is happening in this now moment. Celebrate this now. Know that unlike everyone else on this island, you were able to leave. But like everyone on this island, you do have addictions, because all people do. But you are superior to those addictions. You are able to come and go as you please, and you are able to use moderation, unlike all those permanently trapped to be on this island forever. You walk past some notable celebrities and famous people whose alcoholism and excesses have led them to this place for all time. You realize an aspect of you will always live here, but the whole of yourself can leave. As you return to the boat with a fistful of berries, you leave them on the shore to your next destination. Your guide says, any questions, comments, or concerns?
Now that I'm no longer waiting, it seems almost that things are gonna happen too fast. That it's gonna come at me so quickly that I will become overwhelmed. I won't be able to handle it.
That is a very common false belief. But if you couldn't have handled it, it wouldn't come for you. If you were not able to deal with it at the highest level, then it would never have been allowed to happen at all. The idea that you think that you can't handle yourself at the highest moment of non-waiting was why you waited so long. And the moment you stop waiting, you realize, yeah, it's going to happen fast, but you are prepared for it. You are adept at it, and you are able to keep going at faster and faster. Does that bring clarity?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Our next location. Monk's the End. Okay. We go now to the far north. As we approach, the ore becomes heavy in your hand. We land on the island, and you see many people walking with bags on their shoulders. You know you have reached the island of the mill. There is a large tower and a windmill at a peak of a hill. Long lines of people walking in agony and pain up the hill. You walk and you see an elderly man, completely naked, filled with scars, almost dying, but barely carrying his weight. You say, "Can I help you?" With a big smile, he says yes. You pick up the large bag, and you walk the long trek with everyone else up to the mill. You place it in the spin. You watch it crushed by the force of the water. As you move, You see the old man again. You hand him the empty satchel. And you see now he is much younger, much stronger. He then lifts 2 bags. You gave him the time to recuperate. You gave him the time to recover. He gives you a large thank you. As you look close, you see that he has the same tattoos and piercings as you. He has the same engravings on his skin as you. He hands you a rune, the same message as before, an arrow to the sky. You look up. You see a spaceship, a flying saucer, dematerialize, decloak. It sends down a tractor beam, and the old man is risen to the sky. His skin now changes to that of yellow, like gold. Antennas pop from his forehead. This man was not human at all, and is the alien aspect of yourself, and is going to return to his planet to tell of what he experienced on the island of the mill. You return to the ship and you place the rune in your satchel as you see the ship zoom into the sky as the mist begins to rise again. You see all of the people who lived their lives working. They would live to work and work to live, and all they ever focused on was labor. They never once enjoyed the life that they lived. They are forced by their own choices to live in this mill for all eternity. You, too, are a laborer, but you have the choice, like the spaceman you were kind to leave when you give yourself the opportunity to. Any questions, comments, or concerns before we move to the final location?
Just feel their presence very strongly. I guess sometimes it's tricky to stay awake at this time or stay conscious.
The answer is excitement. Take a little seed of the excitement within you, a little bit that you can find, and water it with just a little water, and it will come pretty fast. It will bring a new level of lucidity, a new level of powerful passion by just watering that excitement. By just giving a little bit of sunlight to it, it's going to bloom very fast. I know that you are a magical gardener. You know how to nurture plants, nurture ideas, feelings like they are plants. Use the same techniques you use in your gardens. Use inside your mind. Think of every thought as a plant. Some of them are weeds, some of them are parasites, and some of them are trees. Some of them are berries. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just life. Some are beneficial to other life, and some are only beneficial to itself. It is up to you which you nurture in your garden. Does that make sense? Okay, as we approach the final location, you hear the chittering of massive jaws, the flexing of large muscles, the screeching of ants. As we approach this island, you see massive ants the size of buses. Your guide says we have arrived to the island of the giant ants. You see these ants eating each other in cannibalism, devouring them, grabbing anything from the beach. Many of the ants pull the boat to shore. One of the largest ants approaches you large enough to eat you and devour you instantly. Fear rightfully shows up. The massive creature comes to you like a puppy, rubbing on you, wanting love and play and kindness from you. As you touch it, you feel the gift. You look to the ground and you see a rune with this symbol on it, an X, a symbol of giving and receiving, of in and out, of being able to have and hold. You place the rune in your satchel. You know that this ant wants you to mount its back. You do. Faster than any horse, stronger than any train. This massive creature bolts through this large land. You feel the wind pulsating through your skin. You feel one with the hive mind, one with the unity of the ants. The smaller ants on the island and the even larger ones. The different factions of wars and the unity of the source of the exoskeletons. You feel the warm stiffness of the creature you're riding and the soft coldness of yourself, the liquid aspect of you, but the solid force of true sinew. Your ant, with you still on its back, crawls inside of the massive ant hole in the center of the island, deep into a system of caves. You see nothing but darkness, but you feel movement. A large portal around you now, and clearing inside the earth. You are deep inside the hollow planet, to a deep system of caves that connects to all of the islands of the other world, many of them still unexplored. Light shining through from some unseen light source. You realize that that light source is you, your innermost light. The ant walks in a circle 3 times in this open space and disappears, but that circle illuminates with massive light. You look through, and it's where you began your human life in the land of the living. At this time, you say goodbye to your guide telepathically as he is still on the boat. You place the 11 runes you have grabbed, the satchel, into your heart center. It becomes one with you for always. At this time, do you have any questions or comments or concerns before you return back to the land of the living?
Thank you for a magical journey.
Okay, you return back to yourself. At this time, I recommend is take a few breaths and whew. Okay. Now I'm gonna unchannel myself because my identity is not here right now. So let me bring that back. Okay, Gavin. I'm here, Gavin. Okay. So I'm gonna end the recording. Recording end.